Hello, and welcome to the Happy Life with Boundaries. If we did not meet in Atlanta, excuse me, I am Ralphiel Toulon, Master Certified Professional Coach. I specialize in relationships and narcissistic abuse. And today I am presenting what I teach on boundaries and how this can be implemented in any aspect of your life. In Atlanta, we talked about interpersonal relationships. Excuse me. And with those interpersonal relationships, 90% of our life is spent with people. Whether it's at work, a lot of our time is at work, with our family, romantic relationships, friendships. We're always with people. And for us to interact in our daily lives with people this much and not have boundaries, it shows up in many different negative ways where we're irritable, we are snappy, we are fatigued, we may also suffer from depression, we may suffer from anxiety, unknowingly, a lot of different things, chronic pains, stomach aches, headaches, a lot of warning signs that our body tries to let us know that something is wrong. So today I'm going to go over, boundaries. How do we set healthy boundaries? And what kind of impact does that have in our life? And if you notice my picture here, behind the title, one part of the door or one side of the door is shut and one side of the door is open. And that's in symbolic of boundaries, because boundaries is, well, you want to say kind of like a open and closed door. I'm letting you know what I will not allow and what I will. Okay? So, what are we talking about? Boundaries. And according to Wikipedia, personal boundaries, or the act of setting boundaries, is a life skill that has been popularized by self-help authors and support groups since the mid-1980s. It is the practice of openly communicating and asserting personal values as a way to preserve and protect against having them compromised or violated, right? So let's get into it. So, types of boundaries. And what I have here, if you can see, I have what boundaries say about us. And we have a young lady here, over here. I have depicted, to me, she looks very like meek, very gullible. And then I have one with her fists up, kind of like stop, back up, right? So we have our three most common boundaries, but there are plenty of boundaries that we have and set. We have rigid, we have loose, and we have healthy. And rigid, I would say, is a boundary that we set very firmly and often out of fear, okay? It's to block a repeated offense by having a barrier in between. So say if you have encountered some kind of negative experience and you do not want to experience that again, whether it was your feelings getting hurt, something happening to your body physically, you do not want this to happen again. So you would have a wall up. That's what we consider having a wall up. Cannot be penetrated. At any term, you're not being loose. You're not letting this down. No is no. I'm not letting you through. I'm not letting you close to me because of this boundary, right? And then there is 2, which is loose. This is inner conflict of doing what is suitable for you, but the need to people please. Constant struggle with putting yourself first. So with having loose boundaries, you set them, but then you lift them. So I need this boundary, but I'm also scared that I may hurt someone's feelings. I'm scared that they may be mad at me. I'm scared that I may miss an opportunity. I am scared of how people may look at me. They might say that, I'm too hard to deal with. All of this is in fear of not pleasing someone else, not being pleasing to them, not being perceived as easygoing, just letting it go. So then I have loose boundaries. So I may set it, or I want to set it, but then I change my mind. And then I'm like, okay, no, never mind, because it was not received well. Where with healthy boundaries, you understand the need for the boundaries, and it's okay with an adverse response that may come with setting them. So you also know that I need boundaries, but I'm also okay if people are not okay with me setting this boundary. So, it's not in regard to you not liking somebody or wanting to be petty or trying to manipulate a certain outcome. It's because this is to protect me, or this is what I'm okay with, and I'm also okay with you not being okay with it. So rigid is fear, may also be because we have not actually healed from a certain situation, dealt with it, processed it. So then we build up this wall and we say now we're okay because nothing can penetrate this wall. And then with loose boundaries is I need the boundary, but I'm scared if it's not received well, then I'm just going to say never mind. And then healthy boundaries is like I need this and I'm going to keep it set regardless of how anybody else or what the situation may be. This is a boundary that's going to stay. Okay, just a little reminder, an important reminder, setting boundaries is an act of respect and love towards yourself. Has nothing to do with anybody else. It's towards yourself. All right, so Ralph, how do we start setting healthy boundaries? And how I teach in my coaching practice is for you to have relationships that are peaceful, you enjoy, that you're happy with. And when I say happy with your life and with your relationships, I'm not talking about no issues, no troubles. With the challenges and issues, even the good times and the bad times, you're overall happy with your life and the relationships that you have, right? And that's with alignment. Move myself over here. When we are in alignment, we can have this happy and peaceful and enjoyable life that we all deserve. So alignment is what some may consider being whole, complete within yourself, right? Whole is about feeling complete within ourselves and not lacking any feeling, lacking and feeling a sense of inner peace by being fully accepting of our authentic selves. That means accepting the good and the bad, the flaws, and all the perfectness that we are. But we have to accept everything, not just the good about ourselves, but also the bad as well, if you want to call it bad. Okay, alignment. So let's talk about it. What does it mean to be in alignment? When our thoughts, our life choices, and direction all honor our core values. What are our core values? A person's belief accumulated through teachings, experience, or observing, dictating how we show up. And just for example of how we accumulate these core values. So when we're little and we are, learning to navigate through life, a lot of our learning is through mimicking, copying, looking at our guardians, our parents, mentors, teachers, people who are around us, and we pick up things. We look at the good things and we also look at the bad things, and that determines our core values. So for me, I'm a person who is a stickler for keeping my word, because I had a parent who would say they would do something or they would be supportive and then they don't fall through. And so for me, that became a core value of mine, that I'm sticking to what I'm going to say, because I know how it feels to be disappointed when someone say they're going to do something and they don't do it. Another core value of mine is just being honest. I personally do not like what it feels like to lie, because then you have to tell another lie, and then when you get busted, all of that, I don't like it. So a core value of mine is being honest. to be transparent. Even if I know it's going to hurt someone's feelings, if it wasn't intentional in me doing that, then I'll figure out a way to make up for it or show that, it wasn't in malice. But that's a core value of mine. So things like that determine our core value. When we see, like our parents, one of our parents might be very nice to like homeless people, let's use for example. And every time, say your mom saw a homeless person, she would give them money. Being helpful would become one of your core values. It's just something that's ingrained in you that's how, you like to show up. That's a value for you, to be helpful to others who may need help. So how can alignment be achieved to start setting healthy boundaries? And that's through authenticity. The more authentic you are to your true self, the stronger you are in setting boundaries. When you are weak in who you are, you're going to either have rigid boundaries because you're going to set them out of fear and kind of be forced to set boundaries, or they're going to be loose or lack of. So either they're going to be loose where you initially set the boundary, or where you just won't set a boundary at all and just let people run all over you. The closer you are to your authentic true self, the stronger you are as a person, and the more complete you will feel, to where your boundaries is not subject to a situation or a relationship. Whether you are at work, whether you have a friendship, your family, or a romantic relationship, this is across the board for everyone and everywhere. Okay, so these are the 5-step process of alignment to healthy boundaries. And this is to achieve ultimate happiness. So these are my 5 steps we get to setting healthy boundaries. Okay, so first we want to go through the process of knowing yourself deeply. A lot of people say, I know who I am. But knowing yourself deeply comes with questioning yourself. And questioning yourself and not in defense. So owning who you are with love and acceptance of what made you this way. So your bad experiences, even your good experiences, all have made you to who you are today. You know what I'm saying? If you've had a bad experience to where now you're a super organizer or you're very disciplined, which we're going to get to, that's a great thing. That's made you who you are today, and that has worked out for you, whether it's in business or just in your personal life. It has worked out for you. It has made you who you are. Accept it and love it, right? And then again, our core values and integrity. And if you were at the Atlanta workshop, I gave an example of the Migos. They're a rap group who says, walk it like you talk it. Practicing what you preach. You know what I'm saying? You know how people contradict themselves, or, they say, oh yeah, I don't like people who steal, but honey, you're stealing. You're stealing all the time. Or you don't like liars, but you find yourself saying little white lies. Okay, so then you're not practicing what you preach. You're doing the opposite. And then self-reflection, meditation and evaluation of self. And when I'm saying meditation, I'm not saying meditation like, get your incense and put on your music and then just sit. No, I still want you to have a space for yourself to where you process how you're showing up, how you've shown up, how you're being perceived, your actions that day, during the week. How is life going for you right now? Reflecting on you and your life. Self-awareness is the present moment of that, right? You can see it in real time. So present in the moment of your actions, feelings, and thoughts. So as I'm talking to you now, I'm present in how I'm feeling, my thoughts, and my actions. Where some people can move around and not even realize that, how they're feeling, they're not present of that. They just know that they're reacting. It's just reacting. Why are you reacting this way? And that's why you have to do your self-reflection before you can build up the muscle for self-awareness. Because when we reflect on, okay, last week I snapped on my mother. I did not mean to do that, but I know I was already upset with the conversation I had with my boss. We self-reflected on that. I know next time I need to catch myself, make sure I'm in a calm state before I talk to my mom, because I don't want to always lash out on people. So then now, self-aware, you're in the moment of having a conversation and you feel yourself about to snap or go off. I just need 5 minutes. That's that moment of, aha, okay, this is what I was feeling last time, and this is how you make change behaviors. You have to be self-aware to make changes. For you to be self-aware, you have to self-reflect. And then it's to be disciplined. So for you to make those changes in what we are aware of, you have to be disciplined in that. So pushing through when the motivation is gone. Motivation is fleeting, like our feelings, okay? Being intentional about your goals. What is the destination? What is the goal? You're putting your destination in the GPS. The destination is the goal. If the goal is by next year, I want to show up more assertive. I want to show up more confident. I want to show up more knowledgeable about a certain thing. Okay, that's the goal. Your self-awareness is saying, how are we right now in this moment with being assertive, with your knowledge? And self-reflecting before we can get to the self-awareness of that is to know that I'm not very knowledgeable right now, but I would like to be. I want to be more assertive, because normally when I have something to say and I'm really passionate or confident about it, I back down for fear of blank. So that's why all of these steps work together. You cannot go to the next step, or you can't skip, because these are building blocks to building the strength and the confidence to do the biggest part is the self-discipline before we can even get to boundaries, because you have to show consistency, and the push through is what's going to get you to setting the healthy, firm boundaries. If you don't have the self-control and the discipline to say no, or to say this is what I want, you're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to be able to do it. And I gave an example at the Atlanta workshop, and I stated, if someone who you work closely with comes up to you and say, hey, and there's this position about to come out, and I really feel that you would be great for the position. If you're on the path of alignment that I have here, and you know that your goal is in 2 years, I want to stay in the position that Anne wants to stay in the position that she is, right? And she knows after the 2 years, she's going to leave, and then she's going to pivot to a whole nother career. But the knowledge that she needs in the position that she is in right now is going to help her pivot. So she can't leave. That's not part of the goal. And if she's in alignment, she's going to say, you know what? Thank you for even considering me. I really do appreciate it that you would think I would be the best person for the job. But I'm going to have to decline. It's just not on my career path. But out of any of these areas, and Anne is weak or not in alignment, she's going to second guess herself. She's going to be confused. She's going to be happy that she's getting this validation from outside of her. And she is going to say yes. And then she's going to realize that this was not the move that she needed to make. It kind of derailed her off her goals. She's not getting the knowledge and the information that she needed to pivot. Now she's resentful. And now she's snappy. Now she's angry Anne. But all of this could have been avoided if we were in alignment and we stayed on the path by having self-discipline. Okay? Now, I'm going through the steps, but I'm going to give action plans and homework for you to walk through the process of doing this for yourself, to making sure that you are in alignment. So here's the work. So step number 1. Let's see. What did I do here? Okay, we're back. So step number 1. What is happening? People. Okay. All right. Let's try this again. Okay. So step number 1, knowing yourself. So you want to question, what are your likes and why? That's the important part, the why. Okay? Because a lot of the times when someone just curious asks us why we like something or why we don't like something, we get defensive because you may not know the answer, or you may feel silly about the answer, or you may feel like they're trying to interrogate you when it's none of those things. They just may be curious as to why you like the color blue. Why do you like chocolate ice cream? You know what I'm saying? Why do you rather jog in the morning than in the afternoon? But if you don't know why yourself, then yes, you would be defensive. So 1 and 2, what are your likes, what are your dislikes, and why? Go into deep thought into that. Why? Then I want you to think about, what are your top best memories from childhood, teenage, and adulthood? Okay, there's a reason for that. And also, what is the worst memories from childhood, teenage, and adulthood? And are those any connections to your likes and dislikes? Is there a story behind why you like something? Is there a story behind why you don't like something? And then the action plan. Take inventory of things that make you happy or you enjoy that you aren't currently doing. And the reason why I asked that, because when I was dealing with depression and anxiety unknowingly, it was because a lot of the things that I used to do in my most healthy and most confident and my most happiest time in my life, I wasn't doing when I was suffering from depression and anxiety. You know, not intentional, but I used to work out. I'm not a workout person or a gym rat or anything like that, but I like working out with friends. You know, I'm not a runner, but then I would run 6 miles. Don't ask me why. I knew it was good for me. I liked the social part of it. It was fun. I did it and I knew it was good for me. I wasn't really, I don't want to say conscious of healthy eating, but I just like healthy foods that just happen to be healthy for me. So I eat it, you know. It wasn't that, oh, I need to eat healthy because of this. It's just like I like those foods anyway. But when I was in my depressive and anxiety state, I was eating fast food all the time. Exercise where? I was looking for the closest parking spot. I wasn't even trying to walk, okay? And I hadn't gained any extra weight, but I was just in a really bad state. And so I realized when I did the inventory, going out with my friends, having that social time to myself with my friends, I wasn't doing it anymore. Having my alone time by myself, my self-care, just doing something by myself, I wasn't doing anymore. All of these things contributed to me not having the happiness that I was used to having, the confidence, the higher self-esteem. I was out of alignment. Okay? All right, number 2, core values and integrity. So the question here is, what are some things that you have been doing, what are some things that have been done to you that are upsetting? The reason why I asked that is because, remember, we talked about when I was going through values and integrity, sometimes those triggers implement our core values. Like I was saying, you know, my parent who wouldn't keep their word, and now that is a core value for mine. People who keep their word, I'm always keeping my word, that's a core value for me. And then when you look at those values that you have from triggers, then question, are you living by your core value? Those things that you value, are you actually living those things? Are you walking it like you're talking it? Self-reflection. What kind of voice do you have? Because that matters. Is it a negative voice? Is it a positive voice? Is it a reassuring voice? Is it a compassionate voice? The action plan is monitor how you're talking to yourself for a week. Take into account if your self-talk is compassionate or harmful. Because if it's harmful, more than likely you're not going to want to do self-reflection. We then need to turn that around to have a more compassionate tone when doing self-reflection, when talking to ourselves. Think about it. The way that you talk to yourself, would you talk to someone else that way? That's how we can start to change it around if it's negative. Number 4, self-awareness. How do you feel about your current situation? Let's break those things down. What is going on right now? What's good? What's bad? I'm okay with it. Can kind of stay right here. What is going wrong? How are you contributing to the current state of your situation? We're not going to play the blame game. How are you contributing to your current state? What is the role that you play in it being bad, in it being good? What is the role that you play? If you are contributing in a negative way, how can you make it more positive? Because this is your life. You're in control of it. Self-discipline, number 5. Okay, so the 5 P's. Proper planning prevents poor performance. There was a church that I used to go to when I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the pastor preached on this one Sunday. Proper planning prevents poor performance. If you know you're not that well or you have no self-discipline, this is going to help you tremendously, okay? And it's the littlest things. So proper planning prevents poor performance. How are you planning for the day? How are you planning to reach that goal by the end of the month or by the end of the week? Planning, we'll sometimes have goals and then we're just like, okay, magic genie, let's do it. How are you planning for this? So just a simple example of me properly planning for the next day and making sure that I start off with a good mood and with momentum and confidence and feeling productive is putting out or planning out as much as I can to help me in the morning. Laying out my clothes, laying out my son's clothes, making sure lunches are fixed. So it's a grab and go situation in the morning. We're off to a good start. We're on fire. Make sure the vitamins are ready. You know what I'm saying? Let's go, let's go, let's go. That makes me feel good because I feel like things are in place for me to have a smoother morning, right? How are you going to properly plan for your success? Setting goals according to Brian Tracy to get this done, right? So Brian Tracy is a motivational public speaker and self-development author. And the way that he says to set goals is like you've already accomplished them. I had a great day. I ran my 5 miles, and this is like, say if I want to do this tomorrow, this is in the present form. So what I do when I'm setting my tasks or my goals for the next day, just get you a little Dollar Tree pad or, notes in your phone. Put it in the calendar in your phone so you can go ahead and set your day. If you're trying to be intentional with building a better relationship with people, put in your phone, put on your calendar, carve out 10 minutes, call Ann, call Derek, call Sam, call mom, have those things, because if we leave it up to ourselves, when we don't feel like it anymore, we're going to be like, I'll call them tomorrow. And then tomorrow ends up the next day and the next day and it never happens. So the questions for our work: what challenges or weaknesses, past or present, keep you from being disciplined? Those are the hurdles. What is something realistic you can implement today to change that? Your challenge: incorporate the 5 P's into your daily schedule for a month, and let's see how things change. Your action plan: set your own SMART goals for the month, okay? Benefits of healthy boundaries: clear, intentional, SMART goals. There's not confusion about your path. You're not trying to appease anybody. You're not doing it for validation. These are your goals that are attainable, that's the A, and are realistic with a time on it, that are benefits to you. There is no more confusion. There is direction in your life. And when you have direction, you have motivation, you have encouragement, you have empowerment, and you start to feel good about your life, about yourself, about your relationships. Okay? This is where we get the boost in confidence, self-esteem, and immune system. We're not feeling sick anymore. We don't have the chronic headaches or the body aches or the stomach issues. We aren't feeling sluggish and fatigue all the time. I'm tired. I need more coffee. I'm working all the time. No, it's not. It's your body saying we are out of alignment. But when you are in alignment and you're feeling good, I mean, you're just motivated to do everything. There is a boost in life. Like I said, it combats depression and all types of anxiety. Interpersonal relationships are better, healthy, and successful because now you don't feel attacked when you're challenged, because you know that you have done the work to be in alignment with this person, and that you know that their love for you is what is pushing them to say, hey, you need to work on this. Hey, how about try this? I want to challenge you to do this. I see, I know your goals are this. I think this will help you. It's going to be challenging, but it's going to help you. You won't feel attacked. You won't take constructive criticism as someone trying to tear you down. You'll feel encouraged, feeling a sense of security and wholeness within yourself. That's the best part. So here's some encouragement. The feeling of guilt when setting boundaries will decrease by remembering that you're not doing anything against them. You're doing it for you. So that is the end of my presentation. I want to thank you. I am honored to serve women in a way that brings them peace and happiness to their life. So if you have any questions or you want to give me a follow-up and let me know how everything is going when you're working through this process, email me. I answer it. You can hit me on Instagram, any of these platforms. I answer back. I am so glad to hear from you women and hear the good things that are happening. Even if you get to a challenging or a stumble block, let me know. Let me see if I can help you through it. But I'm wishing everyone success and hoping that everyone is in alignment or is ready to get in alignment to have the happy life that they deserve. See you soon.